A new podcast is coming and it's about a bus, so I thought this would be appropriate to sing in fucking disco. It's Hurd Ya Saw Speed Edition. I'm tired.
I've only been in front of you
Sorry, I
guys
didn't
for
want
like
to
an hour.
the film. Horia. Nick, nice to meet you.
EJ,
Hi,
nice to meet you.
I'm Rosie. They know Pat.
Do you? This is our best cold open ever. Welcome back to Hurd Ya Saw!
No way you're recording. That's
Yeah! Welcome to the show!
Basically what happened is I walked in my house and there were 5 people watching a movie and I literally thought, I'm not going to say anything. The 3 of them don't know me. I'm just going to play with the cat and look at the film and see if because I like film.
And now you're on the show.
Now I'm on the show. Thank you very much, guys.
No
Thanks so much for
worries.
coming on.
Thank you very much.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you, guest All right, we are in a new setting in the House of Racy, and can I say, very fine place it is. Lovely housemates, as you have heard. I'm joined this time by EJ,
Hello.
Shay.
Hello.
You're right, Shay?
Hi, Wayne, what's the best cold open?
None of that's getting cut at all. Racy, of course.
Hiya.
And new guest, Grace.
Yes.
That's right, I didn't catch your name.
Horia.
Horia.
It's like Gloria but Horia. I
Horia.
can't believe I'm actually saying this on a podcast.
That's good, it's good. This is how podcasts are
It's
done.
okay. 5 listeners
All
are going to
13
be well.
people are going to be like, oh, wow, what a week.
We just watched Speed. And we begin the show, as ever, with a round of one-line hot takes. EJ, as the person who kind of curated this particular evening and a person who had never seen Speed prior to this evening, what is your one-line hot take?
Wildly exceeded all expectations.
Yeah! That's what I want to hear. Racy, we're in your home, so you get next line.
Can't wait to watch the sequel, Lake House.
Boom.
Yes.
Beautiful. Shay was already said off mic that they do not want that explained.
No,
So I
know,
guess we're going to watch The Lake House at some point?
Yeah, that
Shrugging?
and then Speed 2.
No. I mean,
I've never seen
Speed 2 is...
Obviously, we need to
Speed
watch
2
it.
is weird and bad.
If it's on a boat, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Shay, your one-line hot take?
I forgot that this movie opened with like an elevator rescue mission, which was the greatest opening ever until this podcast, until
Horia just
Horia
busts
came
in.
Horia but Gloria.
Yeah.
Gloria but Horia.
Grace,
Yeah.
your one-line hot take of the film.
It was a lot.
Yeah. Horia, you didn't watch Speed with us.
What's your hot take?
It
on
was close-ups.
Juno, stop.
Also, Juno the cat is here knocking stuff over and generally making a situation. All right, so EJ,
Yes.
you have the unenviable task, as per usual, of recounting the premise and plot, should you so desire, of Speed.
Right. There will be spoilers.
Yep.
But
Oh yeah, just as a general thing, would we recommend that people watch Speed?
Yes.
oh my
Oh,
god, yes.
yes.
Yes, watch
Turn
Speed.
this off and watch Speed.
Yeah, go away, watch Speed, come back.
Have you seen Speed before? Watch it again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it doesn't
great.
matter.
It holds up, yeah,
Obviously.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, here's what Speed is. So
Oh wait, have you seen Speed?
I have not
Oh,
seen
then
it.
You've seen like
You're
10
about
minutes.
to.
A train sequence in which it was all tense, close-ups, and Sandra Bullock was chained to a handrail.
Yeah,
imagine
Yeah.
that, but for
That
2
is-
hours. That's been a synopsis. No.
Do it.
Okay, so for the first 25 minutes, they're in an elevator and they're trying to rescue the occupants of it, and Dennis Hopper is in a different elevator with a remote and is saying he's going to blow it up. So they decided to just pull them out of the wall. It's fine. Takes ages. It's really would make a good short film.
It's really good and super intense.
Phenomenal. Very
Yeah.
intense. And you're thinking, boy, this is Act 3 of a bad movie. But no, it's Act 1 of this movie. Cut to, time later,
2 years.
after shooting his partner. Is it 2 years? Oh,
Re-
fuck.
Really?
I thought
You
it was
don't
like
know how
3
many
years.
times I've watched
Oh
this
yeah, because
film.
no, it was 2 years for him to set up the elevator.
Yeah.
I thought it was like
Oh,
a couple
I
of
thought it
weeks
was a
later.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Because he was
Oh.
hungover from getting his award and he was still limping
Oh,
from
yeah.
being
Yeah,
shot.
it was.
So this is like later that week.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this
Later
is about
that
everything
same
I said.
day,
Yeah.
Jeff Daniels has been shot, so he's like, I don't know, shot. And
He got
then,
shot by
yeah, Keanu shot him. He's rogue. He's,
Keanu Reeves is our
doesn't
lead
play by
character,
the
Jack.
books.
Yeah. No, he's a maverick.
Yeah. So, this
Choose
other
gum.
guy, Dennis Hopper, is like, I'm gonna blow up a bus in front of you. So he blows up a bus in front of Keanu Reeves, and then he calls him on a payphone, and he happens to pick it up, and he's like, Keanu Reeves, I put a bomb on a different bus. You have to go and find this bus, and it won't go below 50 miles an hour, or I'll blow it up with the bomb. And, good luck. Also, give me $3.7 million. So, Keanu Reeves is like, oh, fuck. And he goes off to find this bus, jumps on, and then they're just off on an adventure. Sandra Bullock is there, too. So, they're just riding around for an entire act of that.
Yep, with
Gotta get
gradually escalating stakes.
Just escalates so much, but it's always the same deal of, like, they're all just on a bus. So, yeah. So then, after that, I'm gonna skip ahead a little
Yeah, go
bit.
for it. Yeah.
You skip
The-
it
the pre-
so much.
Yeah,
Like,
the recounting of the plot is what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
The highlight of them on the bus is that at some point they go off onto an abandoned highway, and it turns out it hasn't finished the highway, so they jump over a huge gap, and that's
Yeah.
exciting.
It was super,
50-foot gap. It's very
yeah,
exciting.
super good.
They go into the airport, and Keanu Reeves gets off the bus and then goes under the bus on a skateboard, and he's like, I'm gonna defuse the bomb while it's moving, and then he fails to. And then he gets back on the bus, and then everyone else gets off the bus, and then they loop the video because it's the 80s, and then him and Sandra Bullock skateboard to safety, and you think it's over, and you're like, oh, look, that's kind of a letdown in terms of tone, seeing how they set the tone with such a high-stakes elevator thing, which really wasn't relevant. And then it keeps going, and they go onto a train, and then the train is fucking out of control, and he chains Sandra Bullock to a pole, and then the track's not finished, and it's just the whole thing all over again, except that they're on a train.
And in about like 3 minutes.
Yeah, so really, basically, it ends with a date.
Yeah, well, them fucking in the train.
It's a love story.
Yeah.
The end.
In the middle of LA and everyone comes and watches.
Yeah.
Brilliant recounting.
Also, I will spoil this. The bad guy gets his head blown off,
Yes.
and that's
I mean, if
That's
this
it.
film is not full of anything, it's definitely full of foreshadowing.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
The old fucking line's like, it's like, yeah, well, I'm taller.
Yeah.
Still, like, I love the movie, but that is one of the worst snappy quips by a maverick cop on the edge that I've ever heard. It's fucking brilliant. Okay, so who would like to first give us their thoughts about Speed? Racy.
I really want to try the drug now.
God. Or just dose
Is
some
that what the movie
methamphetamines and just be
Someone
like,
else has done a
yeah.
podcast of Speed whilst on Speed. We can't.
Oh,
do
yeah,
that.
Oh shit, okay. Yeah, we can't compete with that.
Yeah.
God, I need a while to collect my thoughts because it's taken me back to being like 8 years old, and my mum's like, "We're watching Speed." I'm like, "Not again, Mum."
Well, you're 8 years old and you're watching this thing with decapitation and people go, fuck!
Yeah, this is why I had a weird thing about elevators for a long time.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of
Mm.
sense.
Is this why you don't like going under bridges with trains above?
Oh no, that's a whole different
Oh, okay.
thing.
Cool.
But like, oh no, I was gonna comment about like taking like sharp corners while not going under 50. Done that, not a good time.
Mm.
Yeah.
You do go onto 2 wheels. It's exciting, but you're also like, this is my parents' car. I'm not covered by insurance.
I was going to
Let's
ask,
not
were
do
you
it again.
driving a bus?
No, I was driving a Toyota Kluger on cruise control.
Cruise control is the name of it's Speed 2, isn't it?
Wow!
It is, 'cause-
Speed 2 secret.
What a tie-in!
Oh, man.
Keanu and you driving a Toyota.
I also can't believe I called him Canoe so many times today.
Canoe,
Canoe.
rather than Keanu.
Yeah, I still can't pronounce it.
Yeah, Canoe Reeves.
Canoe Reeves.
Yeah, you sail him down a river, it's great. Yeah. We'll just go with Jack. Grace, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much for having me. It was-
Yeah.
Did you like my dinner?
Was this you?
The
Yeah.
dinner was delightful.
Oh God, can I
It
just
was
say?
phenomenal.
Yeah, standards for Hurd Ya Saw get-togethers and having food have been like exceeded this evening. We've
Yeah.
had like bougie spreadable cheese on nice crackers with like gooseberry jam,
Oh,
and
man,
then
I
we
missed on dinner.
oh,
Dude,
You missed
Dude.
everything.
You missed the whole evening.
the dinner was so
Oh,
legit with the sweet potato risotto. It's just like chef's kiss.
See, this is what you
Chef's
get.
kiss.
This is what you get when you have this high level of like approval, but also an absent mother.
And a burning desire to just outdo Morton.
Always.
Listen, Morton, the gauntlet's been thrown down.
The problem is he doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen to the show. But our listeners will enjoy the fact that the absence of Morton continues. He hasn't been on a
Is he
show in a
alive?
while.
Is he dead?
Who can
Was he
say?
ever real?
It was just me all along.
He's actually going to be like a Dennis Hopper type of racer, but like, if your oven goes below 220, no, my brother, and you try and take out the risotto.
I'll send my rats to your flat. That's what I'll do. And they'll nip at Juno. Whoa. Sorry, Grace. So, was this your first time watching Speed?
This was my first.
It's also her first time on this podcast.
That's why, yeah, you know.
You get to
Listener
be
has no
honest.
idea what we're talking
I am
about.
having a great time.
Yeah. What did you make of Speed?
Okay, so it was a lot.
Hmm.
I was sat in my little chair and I feel like my body tensed up so much I got cramp. Which has only ever happened to me one other time, and that was when I went to go and see The Woman in Black, the stage show, when I was about 12, which
Yeah.
is horrific.
Yeah.
Genuinely awful.
That show is scary.
It's
Yeah.
scary as shit. I've never seen Keanu Reeves with short hair before like this, so that was fun.
He's got the crew cut in this
yeah,
one,
it really
right?
is
Yeah.
it's a good one for him.
What had he done, like, because this is obviously post Bill and Ted, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Obviously, because he's like,
Slightly older.
A grown-up.
He's a
Or
man.
so we think.
yeah, but he's also got, like, he's not lost the long hair, but this is pre-Matrix, obviously, by some way. What did he do
Point
in...
Break before this?
I think Point Break must have been after Speed, right?
Let's
Totally.
look
He
at it.
seems older in
I
Point
can't
Break
even
than...
pronounce his name, don't
Canoe rips. That's what he is.
I? Canoe Reeves.
Did you? I did notice that one of the moments where you literally were like cringing in your seat was with the bus jump. You had a very strong reaction to the bus jump.
Who fucking didn't, man?
But imagine
I was
doing...
genuinely like, you know what, this is gonna be a short movie. I wasn't expecting that.
I mean,
But no,
imagine
I-
doing that in a Boris bus in one of the route.
Oh, well, the
buses.
bendy buses.
I'm just kind
Whoa.
of surprised that it didn't have a similar effect to when, like, an Eastern European Ryanair flight lands and everybody claps.
I mean, people did get
it's a
hype of like, we made it, yeah! And the tourist guy's just going,
Point Break was 1991, Speed was in 1994.
wow,
Oh.
really?
Yeah,
Dang.
I can't believe it was in the 90s.
Shit, man.
But they do
Yeah.
have fun, so.
Yeah, didn't you say at the beginning, like within the first 10 seconds, you were like, oh, there's a hot blonde, definitely an 80s movie.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's spilled over into the 90s, I guess.
Well, it also has
Hot
the
blonde's timeless.
it has the really long opening credit sequence with the clip art style
Yeah.
font, which I was a huge fan of. Like that's
Yeah.
just sort of like, oh yes, I can taste the texture of this
Oh,
film.
the music's phenomenal.
Yes, the Speed theme slaps.
Definitely will walk down to the
Sound
aisle
design
for
was
that.
genuinely very good. I didn't expect it to be that good.
Really?
Neither.
Yeah.
You
no,
came
I
in with
thought-
expectations of like, what?
No, this
No,
is a
I thought this was
fantastic
gonna
film.
be like a kind of trashy good movie. Actually, it turned out to be a good.
Yeah.
I was genuinely shocked.
It was similar to that film where we watched it and then yelled a lot, the tree one with the
Oh,
cars.
Sorcerer.
Sorcerer. It
Fuck.
had the same vibe.
Well, look, the thing about Sorcerer is that both of these films are really tense,
Yeah.
but Speed is a fun time.
Yeah, Sorcerer is like, fuck, we're miserable and terrified.
Yeah.
But also very tense.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly
I
more
would say
tense.
more tense because
More
no
tense,
one knew it was
but
coming.
less fun.
Yeah, Speed, at least you're like, okay, well, I mean, it's an action movie. Presumably they live, maybe.
Yeah.
Whereas in Sorcerer, this is a dark, weird voyage into the depths of the Stygian human soul. Anyone could die at any moment. And in case you haven't listened to our Sorcerer podcast, some of them don't make it.
Sorcerer is a film about a group of like lost people like transporting dynamite on trucks across rickety road bridges and
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
The premise
Good
is shaky.
time.
It's-
but
it's-
are they
sounds like-
wizards?
No.
No,
Oh.
I don't know why it's called
oh,
Sorcerer
there's no reason
still.
why it's called Sorcerer.
Is it? It's Jim Jarmusch, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
Really?
it's
No. William Friedkin.
Jim
Oh,
Jarmusch.
I always
Wages of Fear.
For some-
Just all of them drinking
They're
coffee.
remaking it and changing the name because no one understands why it's called Sorcerer.
Really, they're remaking it.
Yeah.
No, well, Sorcerer was a remake of Wages of Fear.
Oh,
And
wait, are they remaking Sorcerer? now?
Yeah.
No, well, they're remaking Wages of Fear,
Right.
which is all.
Didn't we talk about this on the podcast
Yeah.
we did about Sorcerer? So
And-
let's not give people
Yeah, we know
material
this.
that they've had before. Now back to Speed. Hurry up. Of the 7 minutes of Speed that you watched, what were your feelings listening to the recounting of the plot? Do you feel like you might go and check out Speed, for example?
No, I mean, I think to paint a better picture, I came in and I saw 5 people completely in the moment of a train station, of a train cart,
Yeah.
Yeah.
of a train cart, with Sandra Bullock with handcuffed to the rail, and then Juno the cat came in, and I spent trying to like make out what the film was about. And it was just that so like no words were spoken. Everyone was just like close-ups. Look at eye, 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 look at eye. I just played with Juno.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
She
Juno
gave me
loved you all for like
She gave
15
me a
minutes.
really good cuddle.
Yeah.
And I just like when she starts cuddling, the cat starts cuddling, you can't move.
Yeah.
Because she gets bored and she leaves.
You just gotta be
So I
like.
just like lived in the moment and I was like, should I introduce myself now? I feel like it's a bit awkward.
Would
Just
you?
standing here. And at some point, I was just standing here and looking. Literally just standing here in front of three strangers with a cat in my hand.
And now we're recording you on a podcast.
And now and I went to my room and I was thinking, oh fuck. And then Grace comes in and is like, they're recording a podcast about a film. What? I just walked in and the intro happened.
This is how the magic happens, people.
Yeah.
We just turn up at people's houses and begin recording.
And yours could be next.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
no
Actually,
escape.
I have a key for flat 2, so we can just pass
That
it.
too.
Nip next door, they come in like, hey, welcome to the show.
We're watching
Lake
Lake House.
One thing I wanted to talk about in this, which I really like, is a thing that I commented on early on in the movie. Is I like that you have the characters of Jack and Harry. I forget who plays Harry.
Jeff Daniels.
Jeff Daniels and Keanu Reeves, like talking out the confusing things in the movie
Yeah.
and trying to figure it out, and like they're always one step behind the villain. But it never feels like we know as much as they do,
Yeah.
and they're using resources, and it's really this kind of like,
Very criminal
oh.
minds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of really satisfying to just be like, oh, they're figuring stuff out. I'm involved too.
Another thing I really like is all of their reactions are like quite human. Like his
Yep.
best friend just fucking died. Of course he's gonna like be like, fuck.
He hulks
Yeah.
out and tries to smash the
Yeah,
bus.
he wasn't
yeah.
gonna hold it in like a tough man. He like actually like
Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't realize it.
Sandra Bullock's really good in this film as well.
Yeah.
Like pretty much all of them are really good. I can't floor any of the actors to be honest.
I think she did the same thing that I quite like in original Terminator, where Sarah Connor at the start of the movie is just like, I'm just a regular waitress. I don't know nothing. I'm sort of defenseless and oh boy. And by the end of the movie, she's like taking an active emotional role and like doing the stuff and
Yeah.
like. Annie, Sandra Bullock's character, like, really steps up really well and sort of, like, has a little bit of quippy banter with Keanu Reeves and stuff. And it's kind of like hey, this probably won't end well. It's like, let's just have lots of sex then. Yeah! And I'm just like, yeah, this is a nice message. They're sort of going to find each other and just, it might not work out, but hey-ho.
I mean the adrenaline that must be pumping through them. It lasts them a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, Jack is, like, rock hard at that point. It's like a whole situation.
Jack is always rock hard. That's what you need to know.
That's how
about
he
Jack.
pulled himself back up into the bus from the underside.
Oh my god.
Just heaving with all his pulsating blood. Shay, do you have some thoughts?
Sure. Watching this film again, I saw the themes of the film.
Oh.
Lay out
Ooh.
the themes.
Let me put on my academic hat and go, hey, working class. I haven't got quite a thesis yet, but it's like all about the working class, and it's about like the very simple, the bus, and the villain's like, I'm not happy that all I got was a shitty watch for my retirement. I feel like I'm doing more. And then all the bus people are like panicky and want to be like individualists, and they have to come together as a community to like help each other out.
Yeah,
And
that's
survive.
true.
And that guy asks for his tools, and they get him his tools,
Yeah.
and then he saves Jack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Game
They
of
save
tools.
Jack, and they all pull him up and help him. Like
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not the one just saving them; they're saving him.
I really like that
It's
Ortiz
not
when
like Die Hard.
Yeah.
when Ortiz gets off the bus and he's like trying to get the tourist guy to come along. He's like, "Give me your hand," and it's just all like, "Oh, they're becoming buddies now." Also, you could argue the fact that because all of the new construction stuff in LA is not finished, this could be a commentary on ill-thought-out urban regeneration projects.
Yes, let's say it is that.
Yes.
I
There
think.
you could easily, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure
squeezing
that-
out the working classes by constantly building new things, but not doing it good. Is Juno attacking a light?
No, she's attacking the couch.
Hello.
This has been Cat Break,
Yeah,
sponsored
by
by Cat
including
Stuff.
all of the major forms of transportation in LA.
Yeah.
She might
And
eat
all
your
of them
head.
are absolutely, unmanageable.
I was going to say, as a former resident of LA,
It was accurate.
Yeah? You feel like this was the sort of thing that you'd believe? Would you have fit in on that bus?
I took the bus one time, and it was after I moved away, and the bus driver stopped in the middle of the route at just the side of the road, got out, went into a gas station, bought something, and then came back in.
Oh.
Just continued going.
Nice!
So there's the theory that Australia isn't real. I'm not convinced the States is real.
I'm not either.
Okay.
But yeah, like at that time and still now, the trains are heavily criticized for not being enough of a public transportation. The buses are horrific and unreliable,
obviously,
and dangerous. But like they literally might have been kind of pointing that out, but hyperbolically.
Yeah, it's very easy for noted mad bomb men to just get onto them and put bombs everywhere.
Yeah.
I felt bad for that one bus driver who was like Jack's mate.
Yeah.
Who was all like, hey, I'm getting my coffee, giving you a bit of ribbon. I love my wife.
Blown up.
Yep, dead.
Not
Done.
dead.
Okay. See, I think what we're running into here is that because this movie's just good, we don't have a huge amount to say on it.
No, I think...
I mean, the miniatures made me happy.
Oh, yeah, really good miniature work in this.
Yeah.
And also, Shay commented, tiny VFX team. Because this was the 90s when the VFX team was like one studio.
There was 2 studios overall.
2 studios.
One that removed some wires, and then another studio, but I forgot what their job was.
There we go.
Oh, but I also would have killed to be on set when they blew up the plane.
Yes, very impressive plane explosion.
Because, like, you could tell that was real. Back when they were like, oh, it'd be cheaper to do VFX. And I like, blow up a fucking plane.
Before 9/11.
Oh.
Very different time.
Oh yeah, when you could just ram a bus into a plane and explode it.
No implications.
Yeah, there's nothing. What? It's fine.
Yeah.
I also want to say I liked the way that this film did reflect the diversity of America quite well. There was a broad spectrum of both women and people of color represented in this film, just sort of there doing things, being characters, etc., which was nice. I also liked that Keanu Reeves' character, while he was a maverick cop who lived on the edge and didn't always play by the rules, like he was actually quite good at talking to people. I really like the section when like the guy pulls a gun on him in the bus and he de-escalates the situation and he talks the guy down as best he can. And there are lots of moments where people are in emotional distress or finding it hard to do things, and he's like, hey, we're gonna do this, you're gonna be fine, in a very sort of vaguely commanding kind of voice. I was like, this is nice that it's sort of showing that there was less about him as an action killer machine, and more about him just sort of being tenacious, resourceful, and like nice to people.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever can recall an action movie I've seen, maybe I'm just being completely wrong, where like that kind of character has actually said, we're gonna die.
Yeah.
He did.
He had that moment where he almost lost hope.
We're gonna die.
He also only shot one person, and it was just another cop.
Yeah, in the leg.
Yeah. Yeah. He never shot
kind of
anyone
is a
else.
joke.
He doesn't, does he?
No.
He shoots a door, but that's all.
That doesn't count.
I think also a good representation of his character was at the very beginning, where they're in the elevator.
Yeah.
And that lady's up at the back, and she's like, I'm not moving. And he's like, get the fuck out of this elevator.
Yeah.
It's like, take a step and give me your hand. Come on.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, he read the situation, like the character read the situation and was like, I don't have time to negotiate with your feelings or emotions. You're either gonna die or you're gonna do what I tell you to do.
Mm.
Yeah. He's also not a hero who gets in. In another movie he would have got in and it would have been.
Yeah.
And they were like, what are you can't do.
Yeah.
He's like, I have to help her. Yeah. It was, I think they played the line of, he was an action movie hero, but not in the same way as like how ridiculous like John McClane ended up being, where he's sort of like, taking on a fighter jet with a truck or whatever and like, doing all this crazy stuff by himself.
Yeah.
This was in many ways, it was kind of a very ensemble kind of film. Like everyone had stuff to do. You had like Harry trying to figure out who the bomber is and figure out how to defuse the bomb if he can. You have Jack trying to do what he can on the bus, and a lot of him on the bus is just him standing around waiting for phone calls. But also dealing with the situations they come up, and everyone had a part to play, and I think that's really good.
But that's part of the whole theme. The film as a whole is like, or Keanu's character development is like, he's like, I would shoot the hostage, you take out the hostage, you solve the problem. But then the whole film is about him saving the hostages. Like,
Yeah.
He could go
put in a situation where that won't work.
Yeah, so he has to kind of accept them and like join them and like come together as a whole.
But also all the foreshadowing, like
Mm.
all over the place. I loved it all. Because like you don't get it on the first watch. You have to watch it like 9 or 8 times.
Over a period of how many years?
At least 4.
Right.
And your mother has to quiz you about it, and you have
Yeah,
Afterwards.
the amount of times my mum's turned around like, pop quiz, who did the dishes?
Pop
Not
quiz,
you.
hotshot! You got a hair trigger, put it in your head! What do you do?
Also, there was no sad backstories in the characters.
Yes.
Which, like, again, like Die Hard and other movies like that, they always have a sad backstory that they
Yeah.
have to overcome some kind of difficult emotional tragedy.
Yeah.
You know, also there's also that thing of like, recently it's like, oh, you have to understand the villain. You have to understand the villain. It's like, I understand the villain, but I don't
Yeah.
care about him. Like,
Yeah, he's an asshole.
He's an asshole. I understand why he's doing what he's doing, and he's an asshole because of it.
Yeah.
Real
Because-
logical, like.
Because he's entitled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes he can just be a crazy guy with a lot of money.
Yeah.
He's not. He wanted his retirement package. He didn't get any money from his retirement.
Yeah,
but
but
like that doesn't
doesn't make him
justify.
say that.
No, it doesn't
He had a
justify.
house.
And
He
he
already
seemed
had a
like he
house.
was doing fine.
Yeah, it was a very logical like reasoning behind him doing all of his actions. Doesn't mean that you have to care about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's definitely. I think I take your point because, as we're all aware, Joker comes out soon, and I'll say up front we're not doing an episode on Joker because,
Thanks.
for one thing, I don't want to
wanna
watch
see
it. Oh, Grace, you don't.
I just raised my
I hope
eyebrows
that
because
was
I
a joke.
haven't heard of anyone who doesn't want to watch it.
I'm so
I don't wanna watch it.
categorically disinterested
Hello.
in this movie.
I am so excited for that movie.
Oh, please enjoy it. I hope it's good.
Oh, man.
I
Yeah.
do not
I
want to
wouldn't
watch
take it
it.
away from anyone else. I
Yeah.
just
Just
don't
curious,
care.
why do you not want to watch it?
Okay, so one incredible.
Bonus
Joker
cast.
discourse.
Yeah.
Why we're not casting on the Joker.
Point one, it's my show. For one. But the main thing is incredible burnout on comic book movies. Like, I have been done with comic book movies. When did I start
5 years
complaining
ago.
when we're still
10
doing...
years ago.
So many. One, there's that. Two, having the Joker as a protagonist and knowing what the Joker is and does, as in he is, in concept, a mass murdering clown. I'm like, you can say, oh, it's going to be a really interesting look at like why someone would do these things, and my response to that is he's the protagonist, which means by default the audience is going to be expected to empathize with him for, in as much as they can. So you're asking me from a conceptual premise of this movie to be like, but really, haven't we all wanted to mass murder? And I'm like, no, I don't feel I need that. And in a time where we do have a problem where, we have an ongoing situation where people are being radicalized more towards violence because of, the overwhelming polarization of politics going on in the world today, I'm like, yeah, this doesn't seem like a particularly well-judged sort of thing. I'd rather prefer if we were trying to drive out media that was more aspirational in a positive way of trying to influence culture towards being better than it is right now, because right now it sucks. And then I heard it won at the Venice Film Festival, which housemate Callum, friend of the show, was just like, yeah, it won all the fucking awards, and now it's going to be that film where they sort of went, well, we can't give superhero movies awards, even though, like, Black Panther, for example, was actually a good and meaningful movie, but we can't actually give that an award. Now, when it's about a antisocial, sociopathic white guy, it's like, oh, now we're gonna, all right, yeah, cool. So it just, that combination of things leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm just fundamentally uninterested in seeing the film.
That is very reasonable.
Thank
That's
you.
incredibly reasonable. I was not expecting such a perfect point.
Thank you.
Also,
Did you hear
I wanna
he,
add-
oh.
No, go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
was going to say, did you hear he walked out on an interview with the Telegraph for
Yeah.
about an hour because somebody posed a very similar question to him?
Yeah.
And it turns out, I read the article, it
To
basically
Joaquin
turns out...
or Todd Phillips.
Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah.
Basically, the interviewer, I don't know who it was, posed the question like, are you not worried that this might influence people to do the very thing it's sort of...
That you
warning-
do
yeah,
in
that
the
they-
film.
that some people would do, like, have done. And he just got up and shook his hand and left, and then PR people spoke a lot, and he came back, and it basically was just like, he was like, that had never crossed my mind, didn't know how to answer that question. kind of took me
Oh my God.
for a bit. And
It-
I was like, surely that must have crossed your mind. Then.
Yeah, see, this is
But
this
he's
is this is
also
what I
like a
find
white guy, so he's not gonna really like.
Yeah, he did rename himself Leaf once.
This is what I find the problem with the film, potentially, is that, like, a lot of the press releases are like, it's like a remake of The King of Comedy, and it's like, okay, yeah, The King of Comedy was an interesting satire in the hands of, like, a team that knew exactly what their point was and what they're doing.
Are you trying to say that the director of the Hangover movies doesn't know what he's doing?
Yeah. Also, like it's portraying again just like someone who would in any other non-superhero movie have just serious mental health issues as a danger and a threat and a capable of violence. Where like the whole mentally ill community is just like, well, what's the percentage of mentally ill people who actually end up killing people?
Yeah.
It's pretty low.
Yeah.
But
I
also,
want to say something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You can cut it out of the show if you don't want
Oh, we
to.
don't do edits, so whatever you say will go on the
Okay,
tapes.
so it goes on the tape. But I find it really interesting, like your Joker point. But I've never thought of it that way. But for me, Joker is because Heath Ledger died as the Joker, and Joker is I don't fully agree actually with the fact that you think that is just glamorizing it, because it's such a shock that you give to a big audience, like the whole story around the Joker, the making, because it's Christopher Nolan making the first proper Joker. And
Well,
I mean, like the big hit. The big like.
Well,
I'm
not going to dispute that, but I would dispute that.
It
But let's
reached
be
the
wrong.
most people in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah, it had definitely had the largest cultural impact for that character.
For that
certainly.
character,
Yeah.
certainly. And the fact that it died, the fact that they're doing it again with yet another fucking great actor, Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah.
is maybe exactly the opposite of what you're saying.
My thing is though that in the Nolan movies, well, in The Dark Knight, which I'll say up front, and just to get everybody really contentious about me, I don't like Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. They're not
It's
very.
like Marmite, they love him.
They're not very good, and the third one is fun. I like the third one because Bane is hilarious. You know, it's fucking brilliant. But in Heath Ledger's role as the Joker in The Dark Knight he is the antagonist. He is not the protagonist. When we watch that film, we are meant to, however much we do, and Nolan did a good job of saying, hey, maybe the fact that you have a billionaire vigilante who's tapping everybody's phones is a bit fucked up, and you have to actually have Bruce Wayne destroy his surveillance network because Lucius Fox is like, what the fuck, man, this is super unethical. You shouldn't have done this. So he uses it once and then destroys it. The way that film, and stories at large are structured, if you have someone as the protagonist, the lead character, you will, by purpose of following their story, be expected or influenced to empathize with them. You don't ever really have to empathize with Heath Ledger's Joker, and Heath Ledger's Joker, by design, is meant to be an enigma. He's meant to be this sort of weird, unknowable, clown figure who just does whatever he wants and tries to prove that people are dark and evil underneath it all. And the movie ultimately lands on the fact that, no, he's wrong and dumb. The whole thing with the boats is he's all like saying, they'll blow each other up, Batman. I gave them bombs and told them that they have to blow themselves up, but what they'll actually have to do is blow up their other thing. And then both boats don't take any action, so he's shown to be incorrect. Having the Joker as just the lead character in a film without Batman, where he goes from, going by the trailers, ostensibly a nice guy who's just trying to care for his infirm mother, to a mass murderer, I'm like, I don't necessarily feel like I want to experience what they feel is a logical journey of going from a caring working class man with neurological difficulties into a clown prince of crime mass murderer. That's the thing. It's a different way of framing rather than the function of the character. Again, I don't want you to feel like I'm saying, how dare you enjoy a thing!
I enjoyed this conversation a lot.
I can't believe that was such a segue from just my eyebrow raise.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-verbal content on Hurd Ya Saw.
But I also like to point out that Danny DeVito's not doing much these days.
You want him to do the Penguin?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bring
Jonah Hill's
that
cast
back.
already. Jonah Hill's cast
Oh,
already.
and
As the Penguin.
Ooh.
As something.
Oh.
Ooh, I actually don't mind how I feel about that.
Can I just throw a thing to the crew generally? How do people feel about, because I know only a teaser and a poster's been released, how do people feel about Birds of Prey?
Don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, I've not seen either.
Never
Oh,
heard
I
of
did
it.
not like Kathy Ann's previous film.
Oh
Me
shit,
and-
no, I know what you're talking about.
me and Morton went and watched Dead Pigs, I think it's called, and we both really hated it.
I see.
Because we watched that movie being like, well, she's gonna direct Birds of Prey, so she'll be a big like name. We should go watch that film.
Yeah.
And then me and Morton really had a terrible time.
Oh dear. You should have recorded. I
This
keep
was it.
saying
Right.
saying to them, you can record podcasts without me. I'll still upload them on the channel because it's all about. It's not just me, also you guys.
You don't want to hear me and Morton just be sad and miserable.
I mean, you're right. Well, I don't want to hear you be sad and miserable, Morton. And also, when have we heard Morton be anything else?
True.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't very good. I feel bad. But I like that it's called Birds of Prey, subtitle, or The Emancipation of Harley Quinn. And I'm like, okay, it looks like they sort of took the cue of being like, hey, her relationship with the Joker's super fucked up, and lots of people read that in the way of like, oh, they're so cute together, the way that they're murdered. It's like, no, he like tortured and abused her.
Someone brought up an interesting point about talking about like the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yes.
Is that someone was like, what's good about the Heath Ledger Joker is that he's like about chaos and about like creating chaos, but he's not like sexually menacing towards women at all.
No.
He is violent towards women, but not in a kind of sex. like,
Yeah.
He doesn't differentiate.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not about differentiation, unlike Jared Leto's.
The closest I think
Yeah.
you could argue is like when he first meets Rachel at the party, and he sort of does that thing where he fake combs his hair as if he's going to try and charm her. Like that's the closest
Yeah,
you
no,
can come
someone
to
put
that.
up, he was like, whoever, I don't know who to attribute this to, they were like, that character's not interested in that because it's easy.
Yes.
It's what the norm is, and what that Joker is about is shaking up the norm.
Yeah, that's true. I've given
And
that.
I
definitely.
don't think the new Joker is about shaking up a norm.
Well, I feel like it's gonna be like Fight Club.
Right,
Where-
yeah.
I mean, I feel like we've talked about Fight Club on the show before, right?
Probably.
Okay, so if you've heard this before, let's just fast forward for like 3 minutes or something. I apologize. Fight Club is a movie that lots of people really like. Lots of people like Fight Club for aspirational reasons, when the whole point of Fight Club is it's a critique of fascism, and a lot of people don't realize that. And they go, was it Bret Easton Ellis used to say, he said, yeah, I had people come up to me and say, yeah, I've started a Fight Club, man. Your book was so inspiring. And he goes, the fuck is wrong with you? No, that's the opposite of what you're meant to take from this. It's not meant to be cool and like a thing to strive for. It's like they literally become terrorists because they feel entitled to stuff.
Yeah.
I was making a critique of toxic masculinity and fascism. And yet people don't read it that way. And I think that's where Joker might be headed, where it might have good intentions and good messages, but I feel like a lot of people aren't going to do the necessary legwork to think, what is the
I
same?
don't think
And
it-
yeah. I don't think anybody's going to go in watching it to be like, oh yes, I'm going to critique it and take take the themes in and just sort of go, yes, this is what mental illness can amount to, but early intervention and blah 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 and all of that kind of stuff, assuming that what the Joker is going to be about. Yeah, that's my bottom reason. Is going to be about, but most audiences don't go in to watch that. Do you think of the audiences that go in to watch Marvel films?
No, they don't want to be...
They're looking at surface level.
This is why Marvel is safe. This is why Marvel has
Yeah.
been consistently safe, apart from very few specific examples where it's been a bit...
It's like, well, because I was saying earlier, it's kind of based on the King of Comedy, and supposedly also Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
And we've had a conversation before, it's like, Martin Scorsese trying to have his cake and eat it too.
Wolf of Wall Street.
Of Wolf of Wall Street, of like, he wants to like have the fun thing, he wants to have like the fun violence of Taxi Driver, but also he's critiquing. And does Scorsese succeed? Sometimes I think he does. Sometimes. Will Todd Phillips be able to have his cake and eat it? No, he's going to slip into it and his face is going to go head first.
Like clown-like
Like
into the
clown-like,
situation.
exactly.
Like those videos of people pushing like the 3-year-old's head into the cake.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Into the birthday cake.
So, Speed.
Thank you for joining us for the Jokercast.
Yeah, that's all we're
What's
good.
funny about this is EJ was like, oh, do you think Nick is going to do a Joker podcast? I was like, no, I don't think Nick wants to get into the Joker discourse.
No.
So, and guess what we did?
We didn't even... I will say, I think that was a very brief touching on the Joker
I
discourse
think it was
TM.
half the episode.
No,
Yeah,
Jim,
over half.
hey, it's like we've been recording for... It's under half because we were post 20 before we got into the Joker, and we're now out of the
Came from
Joker.
an eyebrow raise.
Yeah.
Thanks, Grace.
Grace, you really nailed it this time. You took us to some interesting places. Does anyone else have any thoughts about Speed?
I can't remember what we watched. Can we watch it again?
I mean, I'd happily watch it again. Like,
I would watch it again too.
It's a fucking great movie.
I have one question. Has anyone, because I haven't, has anyone actually seen Speed 2 Cruise Control?
Yes, I have seen Speed 2
Oh, and it's
Cruise
actually
Control.
called.
Yeah, it's
Speed
called
2 Cruise-
Speed 2
I
Cruise
thought that
Control.
was a bit.
No, it's real.
Brilliant.
It is.
It's
And
on
it
a
is on a
cruise ship.
boat.
It is on a boat, and it's not good. It's.
Doesn't matter.
Like
We should
I
watch
said, Lake House.
Yeah, I will need. If we do watch Speed 2, I will need more wine.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm
You know.
sorry, I bought
No,
fancy wine and I could only afford one bottle.
No, you did. You did good. The wine here was adequate. It was perfect Speed levels of wine. But
Not-
Speed 2 levels of wine. That's a whole different ball game. Okay, so I think we're going to move now to the final segment of the show, which is final thoughts. Grace, this is the opposite of one-line hot takes, whereas after all the conversation we've had, maybe your initial thoughts or your summation of where you are on Speed has shifted, and you might want to tell us that in a short phrase or thing. Would you like to go first?
I feel like I learned a lot about the themes that I didn't know, because I had the distinct pleasure of watching it with people who'd seen it before, so basically you just told me all of the opinions I'm meant to have on it, which I thought was very helpful.
We're not meant to have.
You had all the opinions you needed, which was, oh shit, this is really tense.
Exactly, but then you
You had the
unlocked the
visceral.
nuance of it all,
I
which was
deeply
lovely.
apologise for all my, oh my god, this bit's coming up.
No, it was actually quite helpful. I mean, you think there's loads of foreshadowing, but actually it was just you going, oh, something's going to happen now. But no, I thought it was great. I think my favourite line was when he was trying to get on the bus and there was a guy on the bus going, damn, this guy's really got a hard on for this bus. And
That's what
honestly,
he needs. He's hard all the time.
He is. He's rock
and
solid.
honestly, I think that kind of sums it up in general.
Excellent.
Like, he's got a real hard on for that bus.
Definitely does. EJ, as the other newcomer to Speed, what are your final thoughts?
Would watch it again as a double bill with Sorcerer, just to see if these anxiety meds can hold up.
Oh, Jesus.
Pushing your
What was
anxiety
that?
meds.
Also shitting on Morton. What was that film that we watched at Morton's? The blockbuster?
Oh, Miracle Mile.
Oh, Miracle Mile!
This had big
Oh,
Miracle
fuck.
Mile energy.
Yes, it did.
Because it's also set in LA.
Miracle Mile predates this.
What? I bet that the people who made
You need
Speed
to
saw
watch
Miracle
Absolutely.
Mile.
Mile.
Miracle Mile's
Yeah.
a fucking wild ride.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Myself.
Phenomenal.
it's also incredibly tense. Like
Yeah. It's
like-
told in real time.
It's also incredibly weird as well. It's
Yeah.
much weirder.
It's
than
in real
Speed.
time. It takes place in LA, and it's geographically accurate.
yeah,
It's
it all
insane.
it all takes place within like what 2 square miles or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
And
it's,
take it from someone who's
Really
lived in
cool.
LA.
yeah.
It's insane.
In terms of tension that we experienced, it was like Speed, Miracle Mile, Sorcerer,
Yeah.
way up here. Sorcerer's so fucking intense. Racy, your final thoughts on Speed, please.
Again, I can't remember what we talked about. We talked about the Joker for so long.
Less than
Give
half
us
the
your final thoughts
show.
on the Joker, then.
Yeah, give us your final thoughts on Joker.
Still not going to watch it.
Gotcha.
Yay.
Definitely not going to pay to watch it. Speed. It holds up from when I was 8 years old. It
Mm.
really does. And like watching it back, I'm like, now I'm educated and
Bougie.
no, yeah, bougie as hell. I actually go, wow, that's some good shots.
Yeah.
Like there's some good like lines and
Oh.
like.
Oh, that one shot when he's in the tunnel and he thinks it's him and it turns around it's her with the vest and the lighting's
Yeah.
all super intense.
J.J.
Just like,
Abrams had nothing on that lens flare.
it was
Yeah.
so good. It was so good, that shot.
And like lots of the like bus tracking shots where they actually shot the bus from outside and you're just like, yes, oh yes.
It must have been a nightmare to coordinate all of this, but it's...
I mean, you would have had to have one hell of a transportation crew, but again, that plane blowing up is possibly my favorite thing.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I forgot that they blew up the plane. And I probably will before I watch it again. And I'll be like, oh my god, they blew up the plane! Oh!
Hurry
Do
up.
it again!
Your final thoughts on either Joker or Speed.
'Cause
I
this
think
is-
I'm gonna watch Joker first.
Do it. You can be our canary in the coal mine.
You guys had really good points about it, and I'm definitely gonna check out your podcast.
Yay!
Yay.
A new fan of the show, maybe.
Guys,
14
subscribe.
subscribers!
If you just walk into the podcast like I did, just subscribe.
That's how all our listeners do.
I think all of our top listeners have been on the show at least once. I looked at the fucking SoundCloud metrics. I was like, well, that's Andrew, that's Pete. Yeah, they've all been on the show.
I'm so excited to listen to the Mamma Mia 2 one.
Oh, it's great. It's good. It was recorded around Christmas. It was a good time.
You have to do the Tank Girl one first, so you get the whole backstory.
You don't have to do the Tank Girl episode. As I said, I listened back to the Tank Girl episode. I'm like, this episode's weird.
All we do is talk about Mamma Mia 2.
Well, no, we talk about Tank Girl for a long time, and Tank Girl is not a very good film.
But it is a very weird movie.
It is. It's incredibly weird. Shay.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favourite thing is that the third act, when they're on the speeding train, and then there's the little thing that says actual speed. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, did you think that was the movie? No, this is
is the movie!
Oh, I get it now. Fuck.
That should have been the title of the sequel. Speed 2, Actual Speed. I suppose for my final thoughts, I think this has been the first really good film that we've done in a little while. I think the last couple of casts that we've put up have been a bit like, This is the best thing we've watched since John Wick 3, which also had Keanu Reeves in it. Boom.
Coincidence? No.
Boom.